Like it wasn't enough to have Gran Turismo 7 new update and Race Room new cars in the same day, Assetto Corsa EVO 0.4 is out, and it's a really big deal. And what the heck, why is everyone releasing on the 4th like they are trying to get before Grand Theft Auto 6, when Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be pushed back once again? And you know it's true. 0.4 wants a clear direction to the title after months of updates that were a bit of a mess, to say the least. This is probably the first build where most things actually have a light at the end of the tunnel. So what does it bring? Well, it brings the daily racing portal via SimGrid, and we'll talk about that just a little bit later. It also includes 10 cars, including the Ferrari SF25, the Ferrari F40 LM, the BMW M3 E46 CSL, the Mark IV Supra with a drift version as well as a Mini that has an option for a B16 swap, and we love swaps, don't we? There's also a few other cars, and tracks-wise, we're talking about Road Atlanta, Alton Park, Monza, Nürburgring with all its layouts, and that includes Nordschleife, including the tourist Farten, but no free roam at the moment because they have more important things at the moment in this game to correct, and adding something as complex as free roam would definitely set them back quite a lot, because free roam in a game like this, it would be a huge time sink, but tourist Farten is good to have. There's also, they say, optimizations done in graphics, audio, and user interface, and then the myriad of physics improvements. Lots and lots of new content with lots and lots of improvements. Well, I can say that there are a lot of corrections in this update, and it go really far and really deep, but in some cases it feels like a bit of overcorrection, but that's okay, early access and all of that, can't complain. Before going to the rest of the video, a big thank you to all of you, all the subscribers, all the viewers of the channel, for your continuous support. I'm trying to get 100,000 subscribers, and it has been so long, and your help would be hugely appreciated, so please press like and subscribe. Thank you so much. After some extensive testing with almost an all-nighter with this, the state of EVO is actually pretty good. I can say it's actually the first time it felt like a compelling product, even if the user interface irks me and tilts me. It's really bad. Before going to the rest of the video, Kunos does a recommendation for those of you who are having issues with video performance. It worked with me, and it changed also the way the game looks for some reason. Go to your documents, find the video settings file, and delete it. If you want, of course, do a backup. After you do the reload of the game, this will be reconstructed, and you'll have to put the settings again. But that actually worked quite well for me. I'm going to start with physics and force feedback, and for me, driving EVO right now feels different, both in the physics and the force feedback. I like the changes and where they are going. Some of them are incredibly obscure. For example, one of them is regarding doing donuts in this game if you have a rear wheel driven car. Before doing donuts, it was quite weird because the differentials had some sort of bug, but now it is possible, and that has a cascading effect to other parts of driving the game. This small problem was enough to create issues when oversteering in some cars. Now it's fixed, opening up a new venue for the driving of the road cars. It's important since now there's the Supra drift car. But I won't say it drifts in the same way as it did in Assetto Corsa, because it really doesn't. It doesn't feel like it, and the force feedback doesn't feel like it as well. The tires have a good deal of slip angle, so it's possible to hold a good degree for the angle of the drift. And it doesn't feel like it's too hard to hold that drift as well. I feel that Assetto Corsa adds a little more progression in the tires, and the force feedback give a little more information of the state of them. But as it is right now, yeah, it's a massive improvement and a movement towards what old Assetto Corsa was, even though I'm sure it's not going to be like that. And yes, there is no smoke coming from the tires, which is weird, something that we like to see when we drift. These physics improvements transfer to the other cars as well, even if there's a few points where they need to improve. For example, the Spec Miata, the car is controllable and snappy and all that you love about the Miatas. The tires do help you with that. Though starting at mid-speeds with mid-speed corners or changes in elevations, the tires lose grip on a pinch. They are too eager to have the wheels lose traction both on the front and the rear, and this was with slick tires, and all tires exhibit this behavior at different levels, but it seems to be worse in the Miata and the CSL M3. I think this needs to be controlled for next update, because in the way the state the tires are with the slip angle of all of that, it feels like it's going in a good direction, but it's overreacting a bit right now. These changes also transfer to the BMW M4 GT3, which I think it has improved very much driving-wise with this update. I think specifically with the GT cars, and that includes the Porsche that is available in this new update. New tires will need to be developed to be more in line with the ACC tire dynamics, but even if they need to change a bit. As for the force feedback, some of you will disagree, but I actually like how it is in my Club Sport DD+. Others I know they are having problems. I'm able to feel what the tires are doing. It's very needed for drifting. What would also be needed for drifting is the handbrake working with more power, which is, in my opinion, not here. For the content, EVO is essentially a hodgepodge of content with hodgepodge tracks, hodgepodge cars with many different types of classes and many types of years, but I like that. I think even for the wide choice of cars that we have at EVO at the moment, the cars seem to be done in a very good standard. That includes in the physics and also the way they look as well. I like the choice of cars because as a car enjoyer, car lover, I do like these choices of having a 90s car, an 80s car, something really weird, something more racy, something more, you know, something that I would like to have in my garage, even though I couldn't ever afford to have something like an M3 CSL. So having these choices is pretty cool for me because I normally don't look for sim racing games for the part of just racing. I do enjoy the part of driving. I think that Kunos, up until now, has done a good choice of car selection, even though they sound really, really bad. The quality of the content also transfers to the tracks, and they are excellent. I think that Kunos, Polyphony Digital, and Studio 397 do the best tracks in the sim racing games in terms of representation. Road Atlanta, Monza, and Nürburgring are excellent. Excellent! But Nordschleife, as always, takes the cake, especially the Tourist. I really want to thank Kunos for bringing Road Atlanta. I love this track, and having it in Assetto Corsa EVO at this level of detail, it is a joy, and it drives really, really nice here. Nordschleife, of course, is a gem as well. Probably the most accurate thus far, as it is the most recent one developed on all of the sims, and has such nice details, like in the Tourist version, the actual bollards going up. It's such a cool, simple thing to do that adds a lot of immersion. Okay, big point over here will be the daily racing portal that we now have in the game, more or less. So we have the daily racing stuff. We've been asking this for a long time, including Assetto Corsa Competizione, that really never came in. And this portal connects to acevo.gg. You need to register there with your Steam account and all of that. You guys know that I really hate Assetto Corsa EVO's user interface, and this edition actually really annoyed me because in order to access acevo.gg for the daily racing, it goes to a window outside the game. And then if you want to load the multiplayer session via acevo.gg, it kills the game in order to load the game inside the session. Yes, it's all of that. It is, at the moment, ridiculous, but it's a good thing that I'm told that this eventually will integrate inside of the game and don't need really to go to a third-party tool, which is essentially what it's doing right now. Anyways, once loaded, the servers are actually very good. I had between 30 and 50 milliseconds of ping. Of course, it will be location dependent on your side. At the moment, the choice of tracks and championships are still on early stages because this is basically a test and they're having capacity issues, and those capacity issues apparently gives you errors or drop registrations like it happened to me. You know, it's early access, though the changes in the future that will come, it will bode well for regular racing that we want to have in this type of platform, so it's better to fail right now than to fail later at launch. least in my opinion. So another point is performance and graphics, mostly positive, but for some I know it's going to be a mixed bag. I have heard that there are VR issues and triple screen issues with some people, that this update will actually make everything worse, but once again, delete that file because it may help you with it. In my case, I had to go through some hoops like installing the Profile K in an NVIDIA application, and I had a new Windows update on top of all of these things to actually have a reasonable performance and good graphical quality. But a big thank you to chat for helping me out during the stream. It took us like 30-40 minutes and I still had to spend a little more time on my own. And what you're seeing are my settings, where you're seeing the gameplay with my settings, so 1440p with no DLSS. I get between 90 and 120 FPS with, in my opinion, good quality. If you want to copy my settings, have a go at it. Leave me in the comments what you would improve. Graphics wise, a big thing on this update was the paint improvement revisions. I must say, paint is almost at the level of Assetto Corsa Rally, and you may say, who the hell cares about paint color in a racing game? So I like cars, I like the engineering of cars, I like the design of cars, I like the stories of cars, I like the idea behind building some of these cars, and I like how they look. So I care. For me, this is important because otherwise there's no point having a modern graphics card. There's really no point at all spending, any time representing a car to what is supposed to be. Yeah, graphics are okay. Better, I think. There's also better illumination all around. There's better reflection. Outside the cars, everything still feels a little bit too plasticky. And, well, to be fair, the shaders inside the car are a bit meh when compared to Gran Turismo 7. Well, there's really just no comparison. Gran Turismo 7 is that much better, and Assetto Corsa EVO still has that foggy, pasty feel into it as well. However, it does look better, and Kunos needs to let us change post-processing profiles to figure out what's the highlights and the colors, and also the white balance and all of that. But I think with all the settings that I've tried, the deletion of the file, the color rendition with this natural post-processing filter, it's actually pretty great. It doesn't get to be that Gran Turismo 7 level of wow, but it's going in the right direction. So some of you will be asking, what about the AI? Well, I must say, do you like trains just like this guy?
Holy shit!
Well, then it's gonna be awesome. Otherwise, if you don't like it, it's shit. In short, I'm happy with this update. I'm happy, not over the moon. It's not nipple-touching, inducing like Assetto Corsa Rally when it came out was. I think it's okay, and Kunos deserves praise to pivoting on the faults and trying to correct them on time, even though they're a bit late. It's an interesting update with clear direction, good choice of content, and an improvement on the basics, and improvements that still need to be made. My ears feel offended with the sounds like Italian people feel offended with pineapple on pizza. Anyways, watch this video about sim racing, preserving cars that we love. I think you're gonna love it.